Hey everybody, it's Mark again, and it's going to be a late day for me. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that. But um, we're going to do a video. This happens every so often, and you're going to want to know what to do when it does happen. So hopefully you will learn things today. And so kick back, relax, grab something to eat, grab something to drink, grab something to smoke, and let's learn things. I'm still working on the groaner clock, but a friend of mine who has some health issues um, buys, repairs, and sells clocks, but he has trouble um, taking movements apart and putting them back together, and especially with a count wheel type movement. And so this clock was put together wrong. The high note lift lever, which is typically the longer lever, was put in the middle. And in the process of trying to fix it, it broke. You know, that's why I say when you adjust the virgin crutch assembly to bend it between the elbow coming out and here, so you're going to be bending it in this area, but if you bend it back and forth too much, it only has so many bends and it will break. Same way with these high note and low note lift levers. So I'm going to take this movement apart and take this shaft out, and we're going to drill this and put this back in, or come up with a different wire to put in. And part of taking the movement apart, you have to take the front off. You gotta take this pin out of the minute wheel with minute pinion. My magnetic tools. Take the washer off. Take the hour pipe off. Take the minute wheel with minute pinion off. Then you got this pressure washer. And then this will come off. And so next step is I take the count wheel off. Now, a lot of people don't like taking the count wheels off, especially when they go to clean them. But if you don't take this count wheel off, this screw has only got so many threads on it. Water will get underneath there and it'll rust on you. I've actually worked on a clock where the threads got damaged, and I think it was from somebody not taking the clock apart properly. So next step is I'm going to put the legs on so I can take these nuts off. Now that I have the nuts off, I should be able to remove this plate. Now the strike side main gear is going to come up with this plate, and you always want to see where the gong lever is when it's done cuckooing, because you don't want the next gear um, interfacing in the same space as the gong lever. And the gong lever is where it needs to be. And I'm going to put some Rodico and hopefully when it's all said and done with, that gong, the great wheel will stay where it is right now. So I had to do all this to take the gong off. To get to this lever here, to get to this lever here. Now I have to drill this out so I can reattach either this wire or a different wire. The high note wire is typically longer, which it is. Now he could have left the levers where they were at, except for the lever was occupying the same space as the gong when it finished cuckooing. So that's why he tried to take the levers out. Per my advice, instructions, whatever you want to call it, and I told him to bend the wire up, but he anyway, it broke, and I told him to bend it up so it would clear the gong to take it out, because as it was, sorry, I got that in the wrong spot. As it was with the gong where it needs to be, you couldn't move this lever without bending this wire up. And I told him to bend that wire up to see if he could get it out, and he couldn't do it. Now you have to understand that this was here, and so anyway, I told him I'd fix it for him, because that's the kind of person I am. And so that's what I'm going to do, is fix this for him. Or try to, at least. There's no guarantee in any of this kind of work. Because it has a rough edge on it, I need to sand that down a little bit so I can get a flat spot so I can drill it out. Now, you have to understand, I don't have a lathe, and so I'm using what tools I have available to me. So the plan here is drill a hole, straighten out this wire some, shove the wire through that hole, then hit this wire after it's through that hole with the hammer to make it flat, and then pull it back through that hole, which it will not pull easily because the end of the wire is going to be flat, and then solder it or super glue it into that hole. And I've done this before successfully. Now, you don't want to take a drill bit this size because you are drilling into a shaft this size. And if you take a drill bit this size, you're going to be extremely hard to do this by hand with a drill bit this size. So you take a smaller drill bit and then you broach out the hole to allow this wire to go in that hole. And if you don't have a vise, a clamp, whatever set up, you can use a block of wood here for something like this. Drill a hole for both of these wires, stick that in those holes, push it down, and that holds it suffice so you can drill a hole in it. Which I'm going to be drilling the hole off camera because I have to be able to see what I'm doing. And using my center punch, I punched a divot right there for my drill bit. And make sure that you choose a drill bit that is sharpened. This one here has got a broken tip, so I can't use that one. But I have brand new drill bits. And you want to add some oil to your work. That way it cuts smoother. And you want to go slow. These are very small bits. And you will break them. They are not sold in your typical stores. You have to go to a special hardware store to get something like this. I'm checking my work, A, to make sure I'm drilling it where I want to, and B, to add more oil where I need to. Lubrication is your friend. It cools things off. We're almost through. But lubrication cools things off. If your drill bit gets too hot, the pieces of metal will stick to the end of your drill bit and it dulls out your drill bit. As you can see, without a drill press, maybe you can see, I don't know. Without a drill press, all done by hand, I have a hole in this shaft, and this shaft is 3.5 millimeters in diameter. And if you look, let's see if I can get you to see it. The hole is pretty well in the center of that shaft. So now I have to get a cutting broach and start broaching that hole out, because this drill bit is 1 millimeter in diameter. This piece of wire is 1.5 millimeters in diameter. And you didn't see it a while ago. This drill bit is about 1.1 millimeters, 1.2 millimeters in diameter. So now I have to broach out this hole to allow this piece of wire to fit in. And I want it to fit tight. I'm taking my drill bits from this kit that I bought at Walmart, I believe. The smallest drill bit in here is 1.5 millimeters in diameter. And I could use that because that's what this wire is. I probably will end up using that because once I straighten this wire out, it's going to be a little bit bigger. So I'll probably end up using that drill bit instead of using cutting broaches. But I was just watching a video about people putting bushings in. If you're going to do clock repair, you need to buy a set of cutting broaches. You have to use them anyway, because whenever you put your bushing in, you have to broach out the center hole. And you can put bushings in without reamers by using cutting broaches. I've done it. Professional guy Bruce E. Rasmussen, master clock maker. That's how he instructs you on his general clock repair VHS DVD tape or DVD. I just recently bought some reamers because with the cutting broach, you have to go from small to the next stage, to the next stage, to the next stage. The reamers allow you to install bushings faster, but you still have to have the cutting broaches around to broach out the hole to allow your pivot to fit into the center hole. That's the point I'm trying to get across. I had to beat the thing to get it in the hole, but there you can see it's all the way through the hole. Now I'm just going to put just a dab of solder on that to prevent it from coming out of the hole. Normally I push it all the way through and make the wire flat and then pull it back through. And because I made the wire flat, space can only occupy so much. And so by making the wire flat, it forces the wire to go into the hole and not come back out. I probably don't even need to solder it because, like I said, I had to take a pair of vice grips, clamp onto it, and then with my hammer, pounded it into that hole. It ain't coming out. I'm sure there's going to be people say, well, the longer shaft goes on the bottom. It is still long, but honestly, it doesn't matter. The only thing that you have to do, if the shaft was longer, to add a longer wire that connects from here to the bellow. It doesn't really matter as long as it functions. So now I'm gonna put this back together and see if it functions properly. I hope y'all liked that video. It was a quick video just showing you that sometimes things happen. What can you do about it without having all the fancy tools? And like I said, if you don't have a set of cutting broaches and small drill bits, you need to go out and purchase some and experiment. That's how I figured things out, is by breaking things and screwing things up. And I create these videos to show you that you can do things, and you are learning by my mistakes. And so I hope you liked the video. Please leave me some comments. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit the like button. Hit the notification button. That way you get notified of future videos that I put out. And if you have issues that I don't have a video of, you can contact me on Facebook, send me a message, make a comment here. If I could do a video of it, if I have the clock available, if I could do a video of it, and if I don't have a video of it, I will try to accommodate you. And so, again, I hope you like the video, and may God bless each and every one of you. And I also meant to say the last thing I have to do is put this movement all back together and do a function test to make sure it's working properly. It's a very thick plate movement, and the posts don't want to line up properly, and so it will take uh, me a few minutes to put it back together. And when I get frustrated with something, if things are not going my way, I set it to the side. I take a break. You'd be surprised how many times by taking a break from something that you've been working on, when you come back to it, how easily it goes your way. Anyway, may God bless each and every one of you.